Phenomenal morning, phenomenal morning. Welcome back, guys. I don't know if I should say welcome back to you or welcome back to me. Did you guys think I was going somewhere? Did you guys think I was going somewhere? Did you think I wouldn't be back? No, no, no. This is your Breakfast with the Brand. I am your host, Shaan East, as always, flanked by the phenomenal Bobby Jackson. Put it in the chat. Did you guys miss me? I know I missed you guys. Like, I was super busy, like pursuing nominality and greatness at the highest peak level so I can come back and give it to you guys for free. How about that? How about that? Like, I go big places. I spend exorbitant amounts of revenue. I spend all of these times to compile, just like that, just like those educational pursuits. Like, spend all of this money, all of this time only so I can pull together all of the resources possible to come back and give it to you guys for free. Let me know. Do you guys appreciate that? Anyway, even if you don't, Bobby Jackson, how you feeling this morning, brother?
It's glad to have you back. Glad to have you back, Coach. Me and Junior held it down. Me and Joel held it down alongside Junior. So it was phenomenal to just see the strength of the brand. It was something we say in the Marine Corps. You're only as strong as your weakest link, so to speak. And there are no weak links in the Marines. Granted, there are weak links everywhere, but our goal is to get everybody to the highest standard. So it was great to see how well we were able to lean on each other, how we were able to just pull on each other in a time of, hey, coach is out. Let's show him what we can do until he gets back. It was a great experience.
Very good. Very good. I wouldn't expect anything less. And let me just let everybody viewing this know, like, there's certain things that you'll never be able to do without a team. There's certain things, and let me just give that to you as wisdom. Like, you know, I just said I go big places and spend these amounts of revenue to bring back to you the very best nuggets. But look, you guys experienced it while I was gone. You were getting the nuggets while I wasn't there. Like, so sometimes, and this is what I tell like super high level clients, I say, hear what I say, but watch what I do. Bobby heard this a million times, still hears it. Hear what I say, because you're going to hear it and you're going to take from it what you can take from it, what your experience allows you to take from it. Because there's levels to learning. There's levels to learning. So I'm thinking about 3D learning. There's levels to learning. You learned something at 10 that didn't really pop for you until you were 20. And then you heard something at 20 that never really popped for you until you were 30. And then it was like, oh, wow, that's what that meant, right? So I've been telling you guys about teamwork. I've been showing you teamwork, but sometimes you got to see it and experience it in practice and then have the full circle take place, which is me coming back and telling you what I just showed you, what I just demonstrated to you is freedom. Freedom. And it comes from years of dedication and hard work. You know, me and Bobby, we might even skip the matter of fact, now we're not gonna skip it. Okay, hold on. Let me give you guys a break. Get ready. Go get your cups of coffee. If you don't already have them, get your pens and paper ready because I'm about to give you a lesson. Let's grow. There's slow growth and then there's scale. There's incremental growth and then there's exponential growth. What I want to talk to you about is adding a zero to you and experiencing exponential scale. Incremental growth says 1 + 1 is 2. Exponential growth says 1 + 0 is 10. Incremental growth says 2 + 2 is 4. Exponential growth says 5 + 0 is 50. Guys, listen, when you add a zero to you, you can add a zero to the marketplace. You can add a zero to the value that you bring. So you can add a zero to your family, add a zero to your legacy. This is what we're talking about. We're not talking about incremental, we're talking about exponential. I always say that business is a spiritual game. Just imagine when you combine your skills, your values, your abilities, your talents to something bigger than you, something greater than you, something like the power of exponential. That is adding a zero. Add a zero to your competence, add a zero to your confidence. This is about adding a zero in your life, your value, your industry, and your mission. Let's grow. The reason why I did this and what I do is help leaders to become brands and brand themselves.
You train people how to treat you by how you treat yourself.
I teach authenticity marketing.
If people can take advantage of you, they will in your personal or professional existence.
My biggest takeaway just from day one is you are the brand. I would recommend it to anybody that's really looking to build a personal brand.
Just the brand in general has changed my life. I've grown so much since I've been a part of this.
I see myself in what he does, and I believe in it just as much as I believe in myself.
All right, so let's start the teaching. Let's start the teaching, right? So you'll never know until you know. You'll never know until you know. So a lot of you probably have some team around you or some people around you that are kind of helping out, but you feel like you have to control everything. It's a narcissistic trait of entrepreneurs. We want to control everything, and we want to be in control of everything. You become the bottleneck. So I know you've probably heard this, that the leader is the bottleneck, or the greatest bottleneck in the business is you, and their psychology is a fact. It's true. You are the problem. And the only way that you remove the problem is by removing yourself. So you got to fire yourself, guys. Like, fire yourself first. Most people would have problems in their business and they start to look for people to fire. And they're like, this isn't working. And that person, this sales isn't coming through. So I need to get rid of this person. That might be true, but you haven't really tested it until you let them go. Because when you let them go, you let them grow. And if they don't produce results, then you know. But if you're there hovering or micromanaging, you'll never really know what a person can do. So you'll never know until you know, and you'll never know, and they'll never grow until you let go and throw them into the cold.
Yeah.
Right? So we have a specific number around here. We have a specific number. Like you should have numbers for every day and every week. If you don't have numbers for every day and every week, you're not in business. You're in bliss. And ignorance is bliss.
You know, this reminds me of a time where you had a decision to make, and it was concerning me and letting me keep going or pulling me back. I was live and I was drowning. I was talking and I was going. And I remember you talking to me after it was over, pulling me to the side and just saying, man, that was tough for me, but I know it was tougher for you. Like, it was tough for me to let you grow and watch you grow. But I knew that I had to do that in order for you to get to the next level. So one thing that I thought was pretty interesting about the numbers piece and throwing people into the cold so that they can grow and firing yourself, I think it's really, trust is huge when it comes to team building. I think you got to build a level of trust with the leader and with the subordinate, so to speak, so that they know what to do and how to do it. But before I turn it back over to Shaan, because I just want to hear more on where he's going to take this one. With my team, what I learned was that they are a direct reflection of me. So the more consistent I am, the more consistent they are. The more aggressive I am, the more aggressive they are. And sometimes we can blame our team for things that we're not doing ourselves because we kind of hired them to make us better or to cover up our flaws, when the reality is we're trying to extend ourselves, not necessarily replace ourselves. So granted, you do want to replace yourself, but you want to be duplicating yourself, not necessarily replacing yourself and changing the culture of your organization by putting someone else in that spot. So I learned that along the way.
Fail phenomenally. Fail phenomenally. Like, you got to be willing to fail phenomenally. I just had a call with my sales team, as I always do every single morning, right? No matter where I'm at, no matter what I'm doing. And I told them about some of my familiar, when I say familiar, phenomenal, unbelievable, tantamount failures in life. Like you had, like I exploded like in life. And that's what created a bit. That's what made me create a business. Like I went so far not knowing what to do. I always say that I'm just a kid from Harlem who God chose to show his favor and mercy through, grew up in the late 80s, early 90s. And I always have to say the old Harlem where there were nothing but mistakes to make. There were nothing but mistakes to make and consequences to suffer for those mistakes, bad decisions. We didn't have coaches, we had corners. And it was from those corners that we got the bad instructions and then took on bad ideas because of the bad instructions and then implemented. Like there was bad and then there was worse. There was bad and then there was worse. There you could choose. You could choose bad or worse. And I always chose worse because I'm a extrovert and I've got to do things to the highest degree possible. So just imagine what that looks like. Just try to imagine what that looks like. And we did, transferring the energy over here into business and into something positive. We've been able to, you are who you are and you take yourself wherever you go. Just know that, like you are who you are and you take yourself anywhere you go. So if you've been a phenomenal failure, then you can be a phenomenal success. But the thing is this, you have to be willing to fail phenomenally. And most people are not. They're not willing to continuously fail so that they continually stretch. So think about weightlifting. I've got my first certification was as a personal fitness trainer and nutritional specialist. It was one of my very first certifications, right? And so when you want to grow, you have to use a spotter. Now I have another mindset that says if you can't lift the weight, you shouldn't touch it. If you need a spotter, you shouldn't touch the weight. But that's for maintenance. If you're looking to grow, then you're going to need a spotter. So let's say we're in the gym and we're doing maintenance. I can rep out 225, maybe 250, 10 times, no problem. But if I'm looking to grow, then I might take 315 or 345 and tell Bobby to get behind me because I'm going to rep out. I'm looking to grow. I'm looking to bulk up. And the reason why I'm telling Bobby to get behind me is not because I can't lift it. I might not be able to lift it 15 times though. I haven't touched that kind of weight in a minute, so I don't know what the number is, but I might not be able to hit it. But this is what I'm going to do if I want to grow. If I want to grow, then I'm going to hit it until I can't hit it anymore, which is failure. And then I'm going to tell Bobby to pick it up for me, but let it go a couple times so I can do some retrogressives. Right? So he's going to pick it up for me and then I'm going to drop it because I can't hold it anymore. I'm going to tell him, pick it up for me again. I'm going to let it, like I'm going to try to hold it up as much as I can, but I'm going to fail over and over and over again. That's how you grow. And most people are in this tight little spot where they're like, oh, I'm comfortable over here. I'm making, $10K a month and I don't want to risk anything. I got a safe little cushioned master's degree, or I got a safe little cushioned cubicle and we're making 30K a year or 50K a year or 70K a year. And I got the house and the credit's taking care of all of it. And I've got it all balanced. But that's not growth. That's not phenomenal. I used to be at work and people would be telling me about their vacations to the same place year after year after year after year. And for me, it sounded like a nightmare. They would come back, they would, have fun and they would laugh and be like, oh yeah, we went over here and, remember so-and-so was still there. And, we did this and we did this. It was the same clicks going to the same places all over, like year after year after year. And I'm like, that looks like a hamster to me.
Yeah.
That looks like a hamster to me. And these were places that you didn't really need a passport to go, or even if you did need a passport, you weren't going too far and you weren't spending too much. And when I say you couldn't go too far, I don't only mean like logistically, I mean in time. So you might be able to go to Dubai, but within 3 weeks, you got to come right back. You might be able to go to Italy, but after 3 weeks, you got to come right back like a rubber band. You can only go so far. And then because your comfort zone would break and you have to come back and repeat the same year out, 52 years for 2 or 50 years for 2 or 48 years for 4, 48 weeks for 4. You understand? I'm talking about the 52-month calendar year. And for me, it was just like, no. So what did I do? I went to college and failed. Like I literally like, when I say I failed, I mean, when you're learning things that you don't know. So it's a series of failures that get you to success. I only had like 4 or 5 B's in college, but understand, every time I picked up one of those books, it was like, oh, God, here we go again. You understand? And I would get my stuff done, but it would be like sometimes at the last moment. And there's always something in your life that you want to be failing at if you want to be great at it. So I let my team have phenomenal failures so that they can become phenomenally successful and phenomenally independent. And I give them reign to do that. Children, the same thing. I give them reign to experience failure because I know from experience that tremendous, phenomenal failure is the only way that you win. Like I set numbers, Bobby. I don't hit numbers. Like sometimes I'll have a crazy number. So like last week, I had a phenomenal number, like a phenomenal, unbelievable number. I have a much smaller number, and I never really hit that smaller number. But then I just had a breakthrough week, and that's what will happen when you set numbers and you set targets and you set them so high that you never hit them. Your effort will compound. Your constant deposits into the universe will compound. And you won't see it coming. You'll just be like toiling away, work for the sake of the work for the sake of the work, invest for the sake of investing, and spend the hours and read and listen and work and wake up and run and do all of the things right. And then you'll have what we call a breakthrough or an epiphany, where you'll have 1 week that will surpass last year. Yeah. And it'll just blow it'll blow what's possible for you out of the water. And the next day, it's back to failing. back to failing. So the person with the most failures wins.
Wow. This is an interesting conversation, because I wrote down something that I thought was very interesting. I wrote down, I'm going to hit it until I cannot lift it anymore. And then I wrote down, there's always something you want to be failing at if you want to be phenomenal at it. And I thought that those two things were very interesting, because I went to the gym today doing legs. I did legs today. And anybody that does legs knows that that's a really compound workout. Like your back's involved, your chest kind of is involved, your core is definitely involved, and then you've got everything else. And it's like I was putting some weight on there, and then I'm squatting it, and I don't have a spot. So when you tie this back to your business and you tie this back to, are you failing and are you doing it in a way that's going to make you phenomenal? I think that's a good way to gauge it. Is when was the last time I set a number and applied maximum effort to achieving it and miss? And I think that's important, because I was speaking with my wife yesterday about a very similar conversation where it's like, when you set a target and you go at the target and you miss the target, you're not evaluated for the miss, you're evaluated for the effort. And as we talk about teams and we talk about building our organizations and all of these interesting things, I think that your team notices when you're applying the effort and when you're consistent. And when it's rain, sleet, heck, or snow, you're getting after it. And that's one of the things that I've been rewarded with. And I remember this, because I'm sure we're probably going to be going to a break here soon, but I'll share this quick story with you. I remember being online, I remember being in a course. Shaan was teaching, and he was asking us about our brand, asking us where we were and how known we were. And he said, give me your name and we're going to Google you. So we went through a series of people. Boom, somebody goes up. Hey, this is probably why it's pretty difficult to find you. Like, I can't find you anywhere. And then we put in another guy. Boom, we put in Bobby Jackson. You can imagine who came up. The basketball player, then some artist, and then somebody else. It's like a very common name. So this was probably 2-3 years ago, and I was doing some market research yesterday. And again, guys, been doing the work, been executing, been phenomenal in the effort and rolling with the failures, right? Staying focused on the goal. And as I'm doing some research and I'm saying you attract your ideal client based on who you are. So I'm like, if I want my ideal clients to be Googleable, I might want to be Googleable. So then I go and I Google myself. And lo and behold, front page, Bobby Jackson, CFO. You can scroll down and I'm LinkedIn. I'm on the Audibles. I'm on the Facebooks. I've got the articles out. I've got the website. And all of those things are there for like the first 2-3 scrolls. So I'm like, winning. That's winning. And I just want you guys to know that my team can see that too. So when I say, hey guys, boom, we can go back and say this article, that article, this article. So I just wanted to share that with you guys to let you know that this is real. It's evidence-based. I'm a living, breathing testament of what it looks like to build this stuff out. And that if you keep doing the work and you stay focused on the right things, that you will have those phenomenal days. Because yesterday was an interesting day for me. But when I saw that, I was like, it's all worth it. And I got right back to work.
The foundation is failure, guys. Like, so Bobby's winning, but he's still failing. Please understand that. Like, Bobby's winning, but he's not hitting the numbers that he set for himself. He's just winning and crushing numbers on the way. He's getting milestones on the way. He's hitting benchmarks on the way to going to bed at night. Like, I could have done more. on the way to failure and finally like cessation because nobody else is awake now. It's like, okay, we got to go to bed, got to call it a night. To everybody else, he's winning. To the bill collectors, he's winning. To the people that, you know, you pay, like the vendors, he's winning. To his family, he's winning. But in his heart of hearts, like, he's not where he wants to be. And if you don't have a coach is a spotter for you. If you're not lifting weight that you can't handle, and you'll know when you do because you'll need assistance. The weight will be on your chest and it'll be rolling up to your neck, and you'll have to say, hey, come get this. Or someone will just run to your aid. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm literally running to your aid right now because I know what it looks like to grow a business for real. And I know what the people charge for the smallest amount of nothing. So this is why I'm trying to give you such a huge value for free, because I see you struggling with this weight and it's about to crush you, whether you know it or not. You're not experienced enough to know what's about to happen to your back and your spine when this 225 business hits your chest. You just don't know. You just have no clue what it's going to do to you. So I'm going to be like, as a person who's in the gym, when you're in the gym, you can't help but to be mindful of what everyone else is doing because you don't want to see anybody else get hurt. I've been hurt before. Like, I've hurt myself multiple times in the gym because I didn't know. I was the young guy. Like, I remember being chased out of the YMCA when I was like 7 because I wanted to hang with the big guys. Same reason I got in trouble so fast in the street, because I wanted to hang with the big guys. You know, same reason why I got, you know, I learned so fast. That's why I grow so fast in business, because I get hurt so fast because I want to grow so fast and so furiously so I can do what I'm doing now. Please understand, I had to hit specific numbers before I could just say, you know what, I'm going to give this away for free, because I had a job as a, you know, a consultant. So I had a gig somewhere I had to be, but now I don't have to be there. And I have a business and I have a team that brings passive revenue, and I don't have to fight and struggle for every dime. So I've become such a person of value that I'm able to just sit there in the gym and see who needs help. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm looking to see who needs help. And you guys need to know that you will never know until you know, and your team will never grow until you let go and let them go, like let them grow. If you're a control freak, you'll never be able to grow your business if you don't let them fail. If you have a fear of failure, you'll never grow, ever. If you're not investing more than you understand, you'll never grow, ever. If your investments don't make you sick to your stomach, you'll never grow, ever. If you don't need help right now, you're not growing. Like, if you're not like a little bit crazy with how far you've gone and how dangerous it is. Like if your stuff isn't on the line, then you're not growing. If you can see land, you're not far enough. You haven't gone far enough because you're still playing it safe. There was a game we used to play. So I've been in multiple different places. I didn't just grow up in the ghetto. Like I've been in multiple different places, and I can remember a game we used to play. Who remembers tetherball? You know what tetherball is? So watch this, Bobby. We used to be the ball in tetherball. And what I mean by that is there used to be this ice that would freeze over, like the lake would freeze over. And we used to tie a rope to our waist and tie a rope to a tree, just in case the ice broke. We could pull ourselves out of the ice. And this is the beautiful thing about kids, because kids are fearless. Kids are fearless. That's why you got to be scared for kids, because they're not afraid. They're going to put their hands in the fire. They're going to get burnt. They're going to get hurt. So I would walk out on the ice with the rope. And I would get to the end of the rope where there was no more rope. And I couldn't go any further, but I'm still safe. So what would I do? I would untie the rope. And I would continue to walk with no rope. So if you got a rope around your waist, you're not far enough. You're not playing serious enough. You're not really going to grow. You're not really going to learn if you can swim. You're not really going to understand what you're built of or what you're made of. And that's living. Living is taking risk. You'll find out what you're made of as soon as you go past the point of no return.
It's very important that you know yourself to the highest degree possible, because it's through knowing ourselves that we're able to know other people. You are the most important person in the room, and the better that you know yourself, the better that you're able to communicate to others. So you're not only playing the game knowing who you are, but you're also playing the game knowing who everyone else is, so that you're not playing blind.
He's extremely engaging with people. He has a fantastic smile, and he's just very high energy person.
This is called leadership development. So we have to be independently knowledgeable and considerate to know who we are, so we can more effectively know who other people are. As the leader, it's your responsibility to allocate resources in the right places. If you don't know how to communicate effectively, you're losing the battle. I said Shaan Rais. I'm proud. I said Shaan Rais. Leadership is not the brand they made for us.
Listen, he brought fire, heat. He didn't hold back.
20 years down the line, what I could sell, why not serve first? Service over salary. Branding like a leader closes the gap for people who want branding. Speaking like a leader closes the gap for people who are nervous about speaking. If Steve Jobs would have speculated, we wouldn't have Apple.
He changed lives. He helped people open up their business and start their business.
We are the brand. Some people say, Shaan, should I quit my job? Mentally, yes.
As a speaker too, to be able to learn from him and watch him and you know, game respects game. And I want to have that much game someday.
The right client, pay $500,000 for what you do. You have to be bold in your beliefs.
He has been an amazing asset to this event and a pleasure to work with. Very captivating, collaborative, worked very well with the audience.
I want to help you. Put a 0 behind your number, right?
The session was great. How he is online, virtually, he is even more phenomenal in person.
Be the face of change that you want to see. Stop asking questions and start giving demands.
The entire team has just been absolutely incredible. They are a joy to work with. They go above and beyond.
Give yourself a round of applause. Yes, yes, yes.
So what am I really talking about, Bobby? I'm really talking about leadership. For everybody that doesn't understand, like down the block and around the corner, for the people that can't see the front and don't know me well enough to know what I'm really talking about, I'm talking about leadership. You got to be willing to go where no one else has been before. You got to be willing to grow where no one else has grown before. You got to be willing to invest more than anyone has ever invested before. You got to be willing to sacrifice more than anyone has sacrificed before, because you can't leave people where you haven't been. You can't lead people where you're scared to go. And people know John Maxwell calls it the law of the lid. Like you're gonna have, is there a cap on your capacity is the question. Is there a cap on your capacity? And you can measure your capacity by how much money you've made in a year. Very, very easily. And you can base how much you've made on the year based on your capacity, or how much risk you're willing to take, or how much failure you're able to absorb. Like I see people all the time talk a lot, and I'm like, you're not really built like that because you've only made this amount of money, or you're a solopreneur, you don't have a team. You're only going halfway. You're only going halfway. You don't want true true freedom. You just don't want to work for anybody else. I don't want to work for anybody else. So I'm going to start a business. Okay, great. Where's the team? Because you can't grow without a team. You're stuck without a team. You can't leave it without a team. So you're holding it up. You ever seen the Olympus, the Olympus model where the guy is holding the world on his back? Like you can't go very far. You can't go very far. You want to grow. You're here because you want to grow. I'm telling you what it's going to require. It's going to require for you to cut the rope. That rope is symbolic to an umbilical cord. Just think. Just look at the symbology. The rope tied to the tree is like the umbilical cord. Like there's a different level of growth. There's a different level of person. Until you find out what you're really built like you won't even know what you sound like. You won't even know your own voice. Bobby talks about it all the time, how going through multiple different courses, if you were to go to Branded Like a Leader's recorded course and hear Bobby speak, and then see him now and see him then, it would be like a completely different person. And a lot of people right now are living like a premature version of who they actually were born to be. And you won't get to know who you were born to be. They're probably a pretty great person, but you won't get to know them unless you're willing to fail and recreate, and failure and recreate, and like be reborn again on the other side of tremendous amounts of risk.
You know, I love this because I recently, and this is often, like when you're really growing and scaling yourself as you scale your business, you're always going to find yourself either thinking or feeling. And both of those things are risky when you're trying to grow and scale. Like you don't want to think too much and you don't want to feel for too long, because what's happening is going to happen, right? What's happening is going to happen is something that I realized. And I just want to help you guys with this so that you can dive in. So I have an alter ego. I call him Iceman Jack. So my name is Bobby Jackson, and my alter ego is Iceman Jack, right? And I call this guy Iceman because I developed this person when I need to be like ice. I don't need to think. I don't need to feel. I don't need to do anything other than execute. And sometimes risk and pressure is the only thing that will trigger the Iceman for me personally. And for you, you might have that same trigger, that same thing that takes you to instinct. Many of us are living premeditated lives, but we're not doing the meditation. Meaning there's so much information coming in and so many people marketing to us and so many lessons and rules that we've been taught to follow that our lives are predetermined by people that are marketing to us. So when I say we've got to break free and we've got to get back to the instinct, there's a level of pressure that's so overwhelming that the script that's been fed to you is so ineffective that you can only survive off of basic raw instinct. And when you get there, you don't feel, you don't think, you just execute. And here's the beautiful thing. You have to go back and watch what you did to find out who you are, because you don't know what to do. You just do it. You don't know how you did it. You don't know how you knew to do it. You just knew. And that's why the psychometric instrument we have, the brand planner, is so powerful, because I'll do something and I'll hit a number, and I can go back and say, how did you do that? What happened? And then when I retrace my steps and I say, I did this, I did that, I did this, then I can start building a routine. And once I start building a routine, I can start building my armor. And then once I start building my armor, I can find the chinks. And when I can find the chinks, I'm like, ooh, I can't do that. I can't eat that. I can't go to sleep after this time. I can't watch that. I can't listen to this. And what you start to realize is that it requires a certain level of pressure in order to get you to the basic survival instinct. And once you get to basic survival instinct, you find out who you are. And if you're properly trained, your competence creates the confidence. And then the confidence, when given over to instinct, shows you who you really are, in my experience.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. What it is it's a process of iteration and optimization. It's a process of iteration because you're going to fail and then you're going to correct. Fail, correct, fail, correct. You know, shout out to my team, man. My team is phenomenal. Like I used to say that I have the hardest working team in show business. They hang upside down by their toenails and eat bullets. And I meant that. You guys did a great job while I was gone, for real. And, you know, I'm thinking of Joel Smith right now because he's the fighter pilot, right? Battle tested war veteran. And it's course correct, course correct, course correct. When you're flying a mission or when you're flying, it's constant course correct, course correct, course correct, because your course is it never stays on correct. It always deviates. And that deviation is distraction. And there's standard deviation. Now I'm talking mathematical, but I'm also talking business. There's always going to be a standard deviation. So you have to always course correct, course correct, course correct. And that's what Bobby's talking about. The tool that we use inside the Leadership Leverage is called the $1 billion brand planner, because most people only use a fraction of their minds. Entrepreneurs use a bit of a fraction more. But if there's no constant calibration and metric to correct your course, then you're always going to be at a standard deviation of what you could accomplish. See, I had a master's degree. And I said, did I come to get a master's degree? They sent me the invitation for the graduation. And I had to ask myself, did I come for a master's degree? And I was able to go back to look at my then version of the $1 billion brand planner. And I said, no, I didn't come here to get a master's degree. So I took another one. I said, a master's degree in industrial and organizational psychology was the goal, but is not the goal. As you accomplish one goal, you reset it, course calibrate. Because what's the vision? What's the vision? The vision here is to change the face of leadership, just so everybody's aware. We say branding because branding is what you need to have. But I came across branding through a discovery process of entrepreneurs that I was working with. I said, they don't have a personal brand. Well, they need a personal brand, but they also need leadership development. And to be a leader, you have to be willing to take risks so that people will feel confident in following your instructions, following behind you. You have to blaze a trail. And online, that trail is blazed by your personal brand, because you got to rise above the noise. You got to be noteworthy. There's probably a lot of people taking notes right now, but there's a lot of people who speak, but you want your speaking to be noteworthy. You want your actions to be noteworthy. So I got the second degree in organizational development and change. All of my specializations are evidence-based. Coaching, by the way, when I speak about coaching, it's not what I heard or read, it's what I know. And when I got the master's degree in organizational development and change, and they sent me the second conferral and the second invitation to the fourth graduation that I had not attended yet, I said, is that the goal? And I had to say, no, that's not the goal. So what is the goal? To change, what is the vision? The vision is to change the face of leadership. So I entered a third master's degree in leadership development and change, MSED. And let me tell you guys something. When I talk about failure, I was terrible in school. Like education was like the worst thing for me, and mathematics, and even to think of the word leadership was like not me at all. So guys, you got some demons that's hanging around you that you still got to slay. You got some dragons been hanging on you since you was 14. You got to slay those before you can go forward. One of them for me was education. Another one for me was writing. I love to read, hate to write. Love to read, hate to write. Hate to write. It's a discipline. I didn't like it. I could speak for days. I told you, they always had the chair outside the second, ever since the second grade, they've had a chair outside the principal's office for Shaan. I go into class talking. Teacher just be like, Shaan, go, just turn back around. Thank you. I go sit outside the principal's office because I talk. I love to talk, love to speak. It'll be what gets you in trouble that'll make you $1 million. Your first $1 million will come from what gets you in trouble. Your second $1 million will be from surrounding yourself with a team. And you got to let them grow and let them go to get the 3 and 4.
You know, I love this because it forces us to contend with ourselves, you know, and without going too deep, you know, I think that one of the first things you taught us in Branded Like a Leader 1.0 was origin brand story. And the second thing you said was, until you cry over the story, until you've cried over the vision, until you've cried over this thing, you know, it's just not real enough. It's just not there. And guys, I just want to be transparent. It took me 3 years to cry. And I want to give you guys some insight onto why I think that's the case and what I think you can do to cry sooner or start your 3-year journey if you're like me and it just takes you that long. So what I realize is that for whatever reason, we believe we got to be macho. We believe we can't fail. We believe we can't get anything wrong. We believe we can't be transparent. And especially with entrepreneurs, because we have this this image that says you know everything because you're an entrepreneur, and because you don't work for anybody, you don't have any issues and any problems, and you're just great. And we carry this mantle and image with us, and we don't go deep enough into ourselves. And we create our own caps, you know, to a degree. So one of the things that I just wanted to share with us as we deal with this is that there's probably some pain that you haven't really dealt with yet. You know, there's probably something that happened a while ago that you're just like, I don't know if I can touch that. And I'm going to leave it at that. But that's what it was for me. Like daddy issues, mommy issues, like military issues, all of these different things that you experience but never deal with. Like you experience it and then you move on. And it's there, but you don't experience it, so you don't know what it has made you or what it has prevented you from becoming. And as I went deeper into my origin brand story, and I started looking at different things, and I started coming to terms with myself, capacity started to open. It opened and opened and opened. And it was almost like the deeper I went into my own personal pain axis, and the more things I brought to my coach. I remember being on the calls with Shaan, like, I can't believe I'm saying this. And he's like, hey, this is what it takes. He's like, hey, have I ever lied to you? It's like, no, you never lied to me. And then I just kept on letting it out. Like each year, I'm dealing with the next level, the next level, the next level. And before I knew it, it was almost like I could handle anything because I had seen myself go through so many things. So I'll end it here and say, you're stronger than you think you are. You're faster than you think you are. You're so much more than you may be giving yourself credit for. And it's because, like I love to say, that emergency brake is up. And the emergency brake that I'm talking about right now is the pain that has been left undealt. And it could be anything. Reading, writing, love, relationships, family, but you got to deal with it.
Business is like a game of chess. It's not checkers. If you don't know how to lead with the personal brand, then you're losing the battle.
Everything about Shaan's talk was fantastic. I mean, I got so much from it.
So he was really
bringing fire and passion and just love and spirit to let everybody else know how do you become a leader amongst the leaders.
You hold the key in your hand. There is more power in this phone than there was that took the first man to the moon.
His energy, his dynamic information, gave a really great presentation.
I didn't ask for any money. I didn't have an offer. I had a heart to help people and meet them where they were at and find their need and fulfill it.
Shaan is the bomb.
I don't talk theory. I don't talk hyperbole. I don't talk opinion. Nothing I talk is anything but evidence-based.
During the G-Circle retreat in Atlanta, I had the pleasure and the honor of listening to Mr. Shaan Rais. He will not only impact your organization, but he will elevate your team to another level.
When you change you, when you put you into the equation, the whole system is different. I guarantee you, you got the right thing. You are the right person. If you can present yourself in the best way possible, there's no negotiation.
His energy is infectious, and I have so many takeaways from the presentation that I can't wait to get started and implement them today to see the result.
Did I say it's great to be back? I don't know. Did I say it's great to be back, or can you guys tell? Like, I really, really enjoy. I really love what I do, guys. Like, that's the best success in the world. Like, I really love what I do. I get asked all the time, Shaan, why are you giving so much away for free? It's because I love what I do. For me, it's not free because you're spending time with me, and it was given to me freely, even though I paid tremendously for it. Right? It was given to me freely. The opportunity was given to me freely by God to receive it, even though I had to work for years and years and decades to get the money to pay for it, and went through hard scrapes and struggles and strivations to earn it or qualify for it. I can be free, and I can, speak freely and freely become value. I don't feel like my value has a cap. That's why I can continue day after day, month after month, year after year to do what other people are not willing to do. Because in order to be willing to do what I do, you have to be willing to do what I did. And most people aren't willing to do what I did. And if you never did what I did, then you won't be able to do what I do. And it's when you do what I did, the heavy level of investing, the risk taking, the cutting of the cord, the high level of educational pursuits that I've taken, when you're able to do what I did, then you'll be able to do what I do. Everybody wants to speak. Everybody wants to coach. Everybody wants to travel. Everybody wants to, connect with the highest of the high people in this preeminent, phenomenal collage that we call personal and professional development. But there's a cap. And there's a cap on their capacity. And if you're interested in taking the cap off your capacity, that link at the bottom is where you do it. Branded like a leader is the entry door to taking the cap off your capacity. Taking the lid off your leadership, taking the button off of your brand, and being able to feel comfortable in your skin to a different degree. And I'm telling you, I think it was Travis that put in the comments, because he's come through and he's seen Bobby's origin story, Bobby's origin presence, right? We're all in stages of evolution. You got to ask yourself, how fast do you want to go? How fast do you want to grow? How far do you want to grow? And that's up to you, but there is a cap on your capacity. There's a cap on my capacity right now. Why? Because when I got the third master's degree, when I finally got the master's degree in leadership, it's like, okay, great, I'm a master of leadership, but is that the pinnacle? Nope. So when they sent me the conferral of the third master's degree and the attendance and the date and the space to walk across the stage, I said, not yet. That's not the cap for my capacity. Started a doctorate, PhD in organizational development and change, went through all of the coursework, 2 to 3 years coursework, rigorous coursework. I go to one of those colleges, man. Rigorous coursework. I go to one of those colleges. And when I got through all of the coursework and it was finally time to start the dissertation, they said, we're ready to start you on the dissertation process. I said, Is that the cap? I said, no. I could hold off on the dissertation. Put me in the Ed.D. for leadership, because I can remember when education was a challenge for me. So put me in the Ed.D. I came back for everything, guys. I sacrificed everything. I've been in college for as long as I can remember. And now I'm at all of the coursework done in both the PhD and the Ed.D. And I'm in my 3rd chapter of the dissertation for an educational leadership doctorate. Same concentration, evidence-based coaching. And that's why I'm able to do what I do. And that's why I'm able to spend freely and speak freely and give freely, because there is no, I'm not a river, I'm a reservoir. Or I'm not a reservoir, I'm a river. I want you to really understand it. It flows freely through me. I don't put up dams. I break dams and give you the best of what we have. If you want concentrated focus, if you want to know exactly how to remove the cap from your capacity, that link at the bottom will get you there. But this, what you're getting right now, is priceless. That's value. That's confidence. That's leadership. I'm trying to show you by example what leadership really looks like. You got to be able to give freely. You got to be able to pour into people, and you got to be able to rip the cap off your own capacity, take risk, and do what other people aren't willing to do, so you can live the life that other people can only dream about having. Let's grow. This is the Breakfast with the Brand. Tomorrow, same time, same place. It feels good to be home. Let's grow.